There's been, I don't want to call it a misconception, but a misconstrued notion of what a punt means for the Twins in 2022. Explain it all on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. Today is Friday, December 24th, and I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. I want to wish you a happy holiday from Locked On Twins, from myself, from the network this holiday season. Hope you enjoy it with family and friends. We're here on Christmas Eve talking Twins. Very excited to talk Twins with you tonight. And I tweeted yesterday. A link to the episode. I'm Nash Walker, writer at Twins Daily, lifelong Twins fan, bringing you now 3 days a week coverage on the Twins through the lockout. We'll get back to 5 shortly after that, maybe in January or February, but we'll get back to 5 days a week, of course, on the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. But I tweeted out a link to yesterday's episode, and I would suggest you listen to yesterday's episode. You can subscribe to the page on YouTube, Locked On Twins. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube now. A little bit more fun. You can see my face, see me talking. I don't know. If that's what you prefer, if you prefer to listen. Either way, I'm so grateful you're listening today. I'm so grateful you've listened throughout 2021, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end of 2021 about the accomplishments this year. For the Twins, there weren't many, but there were some positives, and we'll do 5 big takeaways, big positive takeaways, and big negative takeaways from 2021. That kind of leads me into my next point. Got off on a tangent there. I apologize. About my tweet yesterday. And I said the Twins have signaled for a punt on 2022. So I hate to put this into football terms because I know a lot of people are just sick of football, and you're listening to this podcast because you want to hear about the Twins, you want to hear about baseball, and you want to hear breakdowns on the club and about Major League Baseball. So I hate to link it back to football, but I think it's a good analogy, and I think explaining it this way will help some people maybe get a better grasp of what it means to punt when a team is punting. I think a punt is different from a rebuild. A punt is different, and we'll talk about it in terms of yardage, and we'll talk about it in terms of the situation for the Twins, because I got some pushback when I said the Twins are signaling to punt on 2022. A little bit of pushback on that. So I want to explain what I mean. And first of all, when I first started this podcast in December 5th of 2019, I would describe myself at that time as much more of a fanboy than I am today. I think I've grown in my Twins fandom. You can still see, like, behind me, I got Twins pictures. If you're watching on YouTube, like, I got Twins pictures. I got pictures of Target Field. I'll always be a fan. Like, at my core, I am a Twins fan. If I was not a Twins fan, if I did not love this team, if I did not grow up watching this team, I wouldn't be as passionate talking to you on Christmas Eve about the Minnesota Twins in the middle of a lockout. So without the fandom, there's nothing there. But there's a balance between being a fan and being a fanboy. And I think when I started this, and for the first year probably of doing this podcast, I was a fanboy. And that's, you have that passion. I still have that passion. I've found more of a balance. Being a fanboy, though, can leave you vulnerable to defending and protecting any move that the said team makes. So if you're a fanboy of the Minnesota Vikings, you're going to defend most of their moves, if not all of their moves, even when you probably know logically in your heart that it's not a logical or a good move, right? For the Twins, I think a lot of what went into my fanboyism for the Twins was agreeing with every decision that this front office made, or looking for reasons to agree with this front office. Confirmation bias that the front office knew what they were doing and that they were going to make the right decisions. And I was kind of wearing those rose-colored glasses, definitely, I'd say, for at least the first offseason, and then again last offseason, I think. And I think throughout 2021, what the terrible season allowed me to do, and just growing up as well, and reaching 500 episodes and realizing that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, is to take a step back and look at it from more, I don't want to say an objective view, because I'm not going to be objective. I'm subjective. I have my own biases. I'm aware of my own biases, but look at it from a different view than just a fanboy, and understand that sometimes these decisions don't make sense. Like, I should have known in my heart last year, sitting here, if I was completely honest with you, if I drank the truth serum, sitting here a year ago when the Twins signed J. Happ, I would have told you I didn't like that move. But instead, I hopped on the podcast and I'm defending the move and I'm going over J-Hap's stats. All true. Like he was good for 5 years before the Twins signed him. But I had my reservations. Lefty in this division I didn't like. That turned out to be true. The White Sox destroyed J-Hap in 2021. Aging lefty. Yankees didn't want him back, so they cut down on his innings in 2020. Like, I just didn't like any of the signs for J-Hap. But I convinced myself because, the front office signed him. This front office signed him. That must mean that, J-Hap has something. And there is some truth to that. They've had some success signing and the list is shorter than the list of failures, but Matt Whistler or Tyler Clippard, making good veteran 1-year deal signings. But I should have known at the time that J-Hap was not good. And I did know, but I sat here and defended it. So what I'm going to do moving forward and what I've decided to do is I'm not going to sit here and defend every single move they make. I'm going to give you my honest opinion after evaluating the decision from both sides. And that's still important to look at it from both viewpoints, evaluating it, looking at it, breaking it down for you, what it means, and then giving my opinion on it and what I think about it. Because that's much more valuable to the listener than me sitting here fanboy defending, protecting every single move that's made. And that's my promise to you. Like I'm promised to do that. And this is all getting into the conversation about punting. But when I say that they're signaling to punt, I'm just reading between the lines, man. I wish they weren't signaling to punt. But what reasons have they given you to believe otherwise? They just have not. Let's talk about Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. Built Bars are delicious. My favorite flavor is the mint brownie. I love the mint brownie. Built Bar gives you that extra fuel. People are so passionate about their favorite flavor. You can tell Santa to throw a few Built Bars in those stockings or dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa this holiday season. If you like some of those marshmallowy treats around the holidays, you can go to built.com. Get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. Use promo code LOCKED15. That's LOCKED 15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Again, Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or purse. You never know when you're going to need it. Go to built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15. Thank you again for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We're free and available on all podcast platforms. So, letting you know in the first segment that I will be subjectively objective with you, which means that I'm going to be aware of my own biases. I feel a certain way about players. I feel a certain way about this front office. I feel a certain way about the team and the history and the future. I have my opinions and I'm an eternal optimist. I'm always going to be because I'm a fan of the Minnesota Twins. But there's a fine line between being a fan and being hopeful and being educated and informed and knowing and being aware of what you're seeing and being a fanboy who thinks that everything's always going to go well and that it has to go well. And that's a line that you have to walk and that I want to walk. And I feel like I've done a better job of because the Twins didn't allow me to fanboy in 2021, which is amazing. Like I told my family this year, please, no more Twins shirts, Twins sweatshirts, Twins pictures, because I'm not following that path anymore. I'm trying to be subjectively objective with this team moving forward because I think that's the most valuable. And I think my predictions and what I see coming and breaking down what happens is much more valuable and much more informed and much more flatline than, an emotional look at things. But what does a punt mean? So I get pushback for saying the Twins are signaling to punt because, people think that I'm being too harsh because the offseason is not over. That's true. And I've talked at length on this podcast, on Twitter, at Twins Daily. I've laid out so many ways that the Twins could get better this offseason. That was before the lockout. That is now. They can still get way better. So this is not over. The offseason is not over. But they are signaling to punt. They are because they didn't do anything in free agency. And things could change. So let's break this down. It's fourth down. And the yardage is opinionated. For the Twins, they've reached fourth down. They have decisions to make. They can punt. They can punt on fourth down from their own territory. The yardage and where they're at on the field is opinionated. For the Baltimore Orioles, it is always fourth down. It's been fourth down for 10 years. But for the Orioles, it's like it's 4th and 20. You got to keep punting. Like you're punting, you continue to punt, and like you're not going to get the first down yardage. And every single time you reach fourth down, you're not going to get there. For the Twins, I think it's like 4th and 5. Like, I don't think it's that crazy to go for the first down. And I think this is a nuanced conversation. But if I view the Twins as being 4th and 5, let's say at their own 40, going into 2022, by signing someone like Carlos Rodon, and maybe it's not Rodon, I'm just using him as an example because he's the only free agent left really that's viable for the Twins at the top half. Let's say trading for Frankie Montas or Chris Bassett or Luis Castillo or Sonny Gray, all the guys we've talked about on the show. That's your way of going for it on 4th down. You'd say the risk is that you don't get the first down, and the risk of that is you lost the prospects to try to go for it on 4th down. But when I'm saying the Twins are signaling to punt, they are. They haven't given any indication that the punt team is not on the field. Now, the most important part of this is the Twins can call a timeout, and maybe this is their timeout. Maybe the lockout is their timeout. It's there no matter what. They didn't have to call it. The timeout is there. They can make their decision and think about what they want to do. They've already missed an opportunity, though, when the defense wasn't set to go for it on 4th down. I'm stretching this maybe a little bit, but I'm trying to help you understand. I'm trying to explain this in that way of when I say punt, because I say punt a lot. What does punting look like? We've broken that down a little bit. What does punting look like? That would be throwing a lot of your starting pitching prospects into the fire, Jose Miranda into the fire, going young. It's entertaining, but that's you're punting. You're not going for it, and like you gave the ball away on 2022 for the most part. Now there's a chance that the punt gets fumbled and that your team recovers it and you're back on offense in 2022. And that would be all your starting pitching prospects breaking out at the major league level, Jose Miranda breaking out at the major league level. That would be all those things happening and the punt is fumbled, but the odds of that are low. Or you can go for it. But you don't want to go for it with 8 men on the field. You can't go for it with 8 men on the field. You need a full group that is capable of getting the first down. And that's been my whole point this offseason. It's going out and getting players who can help you get that first down right now. And that doesn't mean going for it means going for it in the way that the San Diego Padres did last year by trading for Darvish and Musgrove and Snell and really going for it and trading a lot. You can go middle. Like they had a chance definitely before the lockout to go middle, to sign a free agent starter who could help and then trade for another frontline starter who could help. That's kind of going middle. Now they have to trade more to get the personnel to try to get that first down. I hope that makes sense. I want to talk about it a little bit more after this word from BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the college bowl season and the pro football playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available. BetOnline is where the game starts. I apologize if this is hard to follow, but this is just what I mean when I say punt and what I mean when I say that the Twins, they're almost acting like it's 4th and 20. It's not 4th and 20. They have the offense, they have the firepower, they have the upside offensively in 2022 to be top 3 in the league, to be a top 3 lineup in offense in the league in 2022. So to me, it's 4th and 5. And it's also 4th and 5 at your own 40, not at your own 10, because I do believe in their starting pitching prospects. I do believe in Jordan Balzovic. I do believe in Yohan Duran and Matt Cantrino. I think it's a really special group. I think it's an underrated group from watching them this summer, and that's coming from my subjective objectivity. I think it's a special group, and I think they're going to be ready very soon. That's why I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's 4th and 20. I think they have enough to go for it on 4th down. And what that does is it excites the fan base. It excites the fan base. It puts them on the edge of their seat again, because right now I'm telling you, you can just feel it. And it's the holiday season. This happens every year in baseball in the season. But I would say at this point in time, and I thought this was the case in August, and it was, but at this point in time, Twins fan morale, I don't think has ever been lower. And after the Buxton extension, it definitely helps. And I credit them for getting Barton Buxton on that extension. I love that he was extended, that he signed his extension, I should say. Love that he chose to do that, and that the Twins took advantage and took him up on that. Love it. Fan morale is still low because they just watched a bunch of free agent starters sign. And it almost, and I've explained this and some disagree, and that's fine. It almost hurts more that you extend Byron Buxton and then don't choose to do anything in free agency after extending Byron Buxton. Cause it's like, what are we doing here? Like Dave St. Peter saying after the Byron Buxton press conference, the extension to our friend Darren Wolfson, he's saying, I think our signing of Byron Buxton today signifies that like we're committed to winning. It was along those lines, was St. Peter's quote. And if that's true, then where's the signings? And I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying what happened. What happened during that free agency period? And I think a lot of Twins fans are confused and morale is low because of that. But you can use this timeout as an opportunity to regroup, to get aggressive. And I'm naive because I said before the offseason started, this is your time to get aggressive in free agency. Like go out and get who you want, go out and make offers, go out and secure free agent starters in the free agency period right out of the gate. And it worked into their favor that guys were signing before the lockout. I wasn't sure that was going to happen. I thought that the market would draw itself out until after the lockout. That didn't happen. You have an opportunity here to use the timeout as a period to catch your breath and then make a decision. And with this being said, there are pros to punting on 4th and 5 at this point for the Twins. Maybe it's the smartest decision to punt on 4th and 5. I think Nick was breaking that down at twinsdaily.com. My friend Nick Nelson broke it down. And if you're listening to this, you know who Nick is. Nick broke it down what it looks like to punt, why the Twins haven't gone after starting pitchers in free agency. And maybe that is the best path. Maybe it's the safest path and the best path for 2023, 2024 is to see what you have in 2022. Part of me just says be exciting. And you know what? It'd be hard to argue that seeing a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-old starters and Jose Miranda and maybe Austin Martin and maybe Royce Lewis, hard to argue that wouldn't be exciting. That would be exciting. My least desirable option would be just kind of floating, like signing some one-year deals, going out. That's what they're probably going to do. It's going to be Pineda. It's going to be Greinke or whoever on one-year deals. Jose Iglesias, they're going to make sure they get that payroll up to 120 or 125 with one-year deals. And then they're going to go into next year and it's going to be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this team. There might not be certainty. There isn't certainty now. But I hope you have a better understanding after listening to this, what I mean when I say punt, because it's not the last time I say it. I will say punt a lot. I've said punt a lot because it's a different word than rebuild. And because we're in the thick of the football season, Mike's got to win these last 3 games, make the playoffs. We can use a football analogy here. But I'm not going to use the word rebuild. And retool probably goes hand in hand with punt. You're retooling. You're seeing what you have. But retooling could also be trading for some starters, trying to get better, trading for frontline starters to go into 2022 with the expectation and the hope of competing in the American League Central. That's a route that you could go. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a great day. Go Twins. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all podcast platforms. Thank you again. Have a great day. Go Twins.